These court documents do show she used a popular social media app. This closest driving lane would then be the parking lane, and State Street would then be narrowed down to one lane in both directions. It's about 2.5 feet before he cut it. You normally get a straw for your drink, and if you have leftovers, as cars are driving on the roadways, it's packing it down into ice. They were able to reach inside, unlock the door, get in, and they stole the entire cash register. You'll be spending more money to pay sales tax on more items and services like admissions to professional sports games, admission to theater, similar to traffic driving by. Generally, experts say it's not until about a 5 magnitude earthquake where things really start to shake.
Was there a flavor in that latte?
Caramel, please.
The talk was not just about coffee at Capitol Joe Thursday morning.
We're a little behind trying to figure everything out. We got robbed last night.
Sometime overnight, someone broke into the coffee shop.
I feel violated.
This is now the second time in about 2 weeks someone's broken into Capitol Joe. This time, they took the entire register with about $300 inside and left the back door open, causing the pipes to freeze.
Got to figure out how to thaw out the pipe so we can wash dishes in back. We have to buy a new drawer, new register, the whole system.
Around the block from Capitol Joe, about a quarter mile away, Jackson House was also burglarized Wednesday night.
It causes you unneeded stress that you don't have. We have enough stress getting ready to open in the morning.
The front door at Jackson House has since been fixed, but similar to Capitol Joe's break-in, someone broke the glass door to get inside, then took the register and tip jar.
There was actually a trail going out here of coins, so they were clearly dropping them as they left the building.
Both Capitol Joe and Jackson House are not used to dealing with break-ins and say it only started recently. Now they are taking a look at their security systems or lack thereof and will make the necessary upgrades to try and prevent future break-ins.
Yeah, we're going to have to step up, get some kind of a, silent alarm or some kind of thing. It's the reality. This is the world we live in.
Some are now raising concerns over possible negligence by property management about this fire. As flames overtake Kensington Club Apartments in Lancaster County early Friday morning, some people who called this building home want answers.
They play with everybody's life in that. They're not just
Enrique Matos tells me for the last 2 weeks, his neighbors were having problems with their furnace, and property management was slow to fix the problem, something he says he's also experienced.
They had reported for over 2 weeks that their heater was something wrong. It kept turning off. They never did. They just kept turning it on and said, no, everything is okay. It kept making noise and spark noise, but they told them, no, everything's okay.
The furnace Matos told us about is at the center of the fire's investigation. I stopped by the property's on-site management office to get answers about the possible furnace issues, but was told there was no one I could talk to. I called the Solomon organization, which is the apartment's corporate management.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system,
but had to leave a message. We were sent this statement from an apartment spokesman about the fire, but it did not address the furnace issue. It read in part, quote, "We await the fire marshal's finding as to the cause of the fire." It was a scary situation for Amanda Wengert as her son got off the school bus and was walking up the driveway Thursday afternoon.
He said, "Mom, there's a strange guy out there. He's trying to give me a cell phone."
When she looked outside, she saw 23-year-old Tyler Weber-Haig and realized she had seen him standing across from her home earlier that day. This time, though, his behavior was much different.
He kept saying, "Come out here. I have something to show you." And he was dancing around, acting all weird.
Wengert called police and let them know that Weber-Haig was walking away from her home toward Jonestown Elementary School, where her 9-year-old daughter, Ava, was inside.
It was really scary in lockdown, and we were all huddled up together in the corner. Over the loudspeaker they said, "This is not a drill," twice. And so I knew something was wrong right away.
Police say Weber-Haig gained entry to the school coming in through this door from the office. He got into the lobby here and then went down this hallway where the classrooms were before leaving the building. Pennsylvania State Police credit Wengert for getting that ball rolling and calling police when Weber-Haig was at her home. That call placed troopers closer to Jonestown Elementary when the call came in that he was inside the school. I read through this entire lawsuit, and it details the alleged abuse that took place over a 4-year period. And while the statute of limitations has expired on this case, the plaintiff hopes that this lawsuit will hold the Diocese of Harrisburg accountable on claims that it failed to act when questions and concerns were raised over a teacher and his interactions with students.
you lose faith.
Fighting back tears, Patrick Dugan says he was raped and assaulted by Ronald Stewart, a St. Francis of Assisi history teacher in the Diocese of Harrisburg in the 70s.
When you're abused within the church, the place that you were sent to be protected, the people that you believed were your protectors and the guardians of your faith, when you're abused there, it changes you.
The lawsuit filed against the Diocese of Harrisburg cites conspiracy and fraud. It goes on to say, beginning in 1974, Stewart would give Dugan and other male students marijuana, quaaludes, and alcohol. Once intoxicated, Stewart would rape Dugan. The Diocese of Harrisburg says they reported Stewart to law enforcement in 1993 after the only known allegation against him was first reported to the diocese. The average age a child sex abuse victim speaks out about their abuse is 52 years old. Dugan, 57, has just started publicly speaking out about his alleged abuse. And as he finds his voice, he hopes, if nothing else, this lawsuit urges state lawmakers here at the state capitol to pass statute of limitations reform, which has stalled in the General Assembly.
When you're out of your chambers and you're alone in your homes, I want you to close your eyes. And I want you to imagine that those abused are your sons, your daughters, your grandsons, your granddaughters. You also have to quit worrying about the reputation of the church.
Dugan says Stewart was not asked back to teach by the diocese in 1975. However, the diocese tells me they are unaware of any allegations of abuse against Stewart in the 1975 timeframe. In Lower Paxton Township, Dauphin County, ChelseaKoerbler, Fox 43 News. February 18th, 2018, a day many in local law enforcement wish never happened.
If he was here, he'd be like, oh, geez, would you guys knock it off? Get on with it, you know?
On this day, 1 year ago, the U.S. Marshals Fugitive Task Force was serving a warrant on the 1800 block of Mulberry Street in Harrisburg when gunfire erupted, killing Deputy U.S. Marshal Christopher Hill.
When you are going in someone's home and going to take away their freedom, I think there's an uptick of danger.
Retired U.S. Marshal for the Middle District of Pennsylvania and now State Senator Mike Regan worked with Hill until 2011. Looking around his office, you can see the pride he has for U.S. Marshals and the honor to have known Hill.
I would put Chris up against anyone in the country as far as tactics and law enforcement know-how.
He saw Hill about 6 months before he died and remembers that last meeting.
When we were done, he kind of pulled me in for a bro hug.
That memory bringing the senator to tears.
Told me he loved me.
That emotion speaking to the man Hill was and the impact he had on so many.
People gravitated towards Chris.
For many of the U.S. Marshals serving with Hill the day he died, that day is still too hard for many of them to talk about.
Those guys went through a lot, you know. It's a small office in Harrisburg. I mean, there's like, 10 guys. And they have kind of memorialized his cube. There's no one in that.
But Senator Regan says they're finding ways to move on. Like any law enforcement job, it doesn't matter if you're still serving or retired. It's a brotherhood. And that strong bond is what many are now leaning upon for strength.
You're facing, life and death all the time, so you get really close with the guys around you because they have your back. Even if they don't like you, when it all goes down, they're there for you.
Senator Regan says Hill's family is doing as well as they can be given the situation. He does credit Hill's wife's strength for helping so many of them get through this tough time. In Harrisburg, ChelseaKoerbler, Fox 43 News. Water shut off to 17 families renting through Rick Koerbler in Steelton.
Went to the bathroom, went to flush, and it didn't flush. Went to wash my hands, didn't have water.
In a Facebook post, the borough says the shutoffs are because Koerbler racked up $60,000 in unpaid water bills. However, Koerbler tells us that's not the full story.
The only communication I have is they turned the water off because They're upset I didn't make a $2,000 payment in May.
In October, Koerbler says he entered a payment plan with the borough after 2 water pipes on 2 different properties burst, causing unexpected high water bills. Koerbler gave us these documents that he says show he's paid the borough $2,000 a month on top of his quarterly water bill to settle the debt. There's no $2,000 payment listed for May because he says the borough received a $5,800 property settlement check he thought would cover the May payment.
They're not looking at it that way. They want a separate check, I guess. They're not talking to me, so I truly don't know.
The borough says the water authority sent 30-day notices to Koerbler and his tenants on May 23rd. However, Koerbler and his tenants both tell me they've received nothing.
I'd like to see the proof that they put. Are there pictures of our doors of notices? Are there records of phone calls? Because I didn't receive one. And I know many other tenants that I've talked to, no one received anything.